I miss calls all the time. Just ask my friends. What was strange was the voicemail. It was from my number. It was from me. My life is, for the most part, pretty boring. I'm not complaining. I like it that way. I have my small apartment, my 9-to-5 job, and my predictable routine. Wake up, work, come home, make dinner, watch something, sleep, rinse and repeat. There are no surprise parties, no dramatic encounters, and definitely nothing supernatural. I live a quiet, simple life. Or at least, I did, until that call. It was a Tuesday evening. I was walking home from the grocery store, juggling 2 bags and fumbling for my keys. When I finally got inside and dropped everything on the counter, I noticed a little notification on my phone screen. 1 missed call, 1 new voicemail. I sighed, assuming it was a spam caller who somehow managed to bypass my filters. But when I looked closer, my stomach did a little flip. The number was mine. I stared at it for a good 10 seconds, trying to figure out how that was even possible. A glitch, probably. Out of pure curiosity, more than anything else, I pressed play. The familiar beep sounded, and then, my own voice, but it was quiet, almost a whisper. It said, "Don't go home tonight." I actually laughed out loud. It sounded exactly like me, but there was an eerie, urgent quality to it. What a weird prank. My first thought was that it had to be a glitch. Maybe my phone accidentally recorded a snippet of me talking earlier and somehow saved it as a voicemail from myself. Or maybe it was one of those new AI voice cloning things. I'd seen videos online where people could make celebrities say anything. It was probably a friend playing a high-tech prank on me. Yeah, that had to be it. I have a friend, Alex, who is always messing with this kind of stuff. I even texted him, haha, very funny with the voicemail. He replied almost instantly with a bunch of question marks. I rolled my eyes. Of course, he'd play dumb. Technology messes up sometimes, right? It was the only logical explanation. I shrugged it off, put my groceries away, and decided to just forget about it. But the voice, it kind of stuck with me. The more I thought about it, the more unsettled I felt. It wasn't just that it sounded like me, it was me. It had my specific speech patterns. The tiny little pause I always take before starting a sentence. The way my breath catches when I'm nervous. Even the slight lisp I have on certain words that most people don't even notice. No AI could replicate that. No friend could mimic it so perfectly. It was a flawless copy, an audio photograph of my own voice, filled with a sense of dread that I couldn't quite place, but I could definitely feel. It was like listening to a recording of myself from a nightmare. The initial amusement was gone, replaced by a growing knot of anxiety in my stomach. Something just felt wrong. Just as I was trying to convince myself to let it go, my phone buzzed again. My heart jumped into my throat. I looked at the screen, and my blood ran cold. Another voicemail. From my number. For a second, I didn't want to listen. I wanted to throw my phone against the wall and pretend none of this was happening. But I couldn't. My hand was shaking as I lifted the phone to my ear. I pressed play. The beep. Silence. And then, my voice, again, even more strained and desperate than before. This time, it said just 4 words. You don't survive tonight. That's when the fear, real and paralyzing, hit me like a tidal wave. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't a glitch. My hand started shaking so badly, I almost dropped my phone. My chest felt tight, like a band was constricting around my lungs, and it was suddenly hard to breathe. The world around me seemed to fade into the background. All I could hear was the echo of my own voice delivering that terrifying message. You don't survive tonight. Every rational explanation evaporated. I sank onto my couch, the phone's screen glowing in the dim light of my living room, my mind racing. What was happening? Was I losing my mind? The humor was gone. The curiosity was gone. All that was left was pure, cold terror. My mind was a chaotic mess, but one thought managed to cut through the panic: the details. I needed to check the details of the voicemail. With trembling fingers, I navigated back to the call log. I opened the information for the first voicemail, the one that told me not to go home. I scrolled down past the number and the duration, looking for the timestamp, and that's when I saw it. The voicemail wasn't from today. It wasn't from a few minutes ago. The timestamp was for tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, at 3:15 p.m. My heart stopped. How could I receive a message from the future? My brain couldn't process it. I checked the second message. Same thing, timestamped for tomorrow, 3:25 p.m., 10 minutes after the first. It wasn't a warning about tonight. It was a message from a future me, about a future me. Logic was screaming at me. It's impossible. It's a bug. A server error. Your phone's clock is messed up. Go home, lock the door, and get some sleep. But then there was this other voice. A deeper, more primal instinct that was screaming even louder. It was the same feeling you get when you're walking alone at night and feel like you're being watched. The voice in the voicemail was terrified, and that terror was now mine. My apartment, my safe space, suddenly felt like a trap. Logic told me to ignore it, to be rational. But instinct, The part of you that's just trying to survive was taking over. I looked at my jacket hanging by the door and my keys on the small table next to it. I had to make a decision, and in that moment, instinct won. I wasn't going home. I ended up spending the night at a cheap motel on the other side of town. I didn't sleep a wink. I just sat on the bed, watching the door, replaying the voicemails in my head over and over again. The next day, I felt completely drained and honestly, a little foolish. Was I really hiding in a motel because of a weird voicemail? I decided to check the local news on my phone, mostly to distract myself. I was scrolling through headlines about city council meetings and local sports when a breaking news alert popped up. Gas leak causes major incident at downtown apartment complex. I clicked on it, my hands went numb. The picture was of my building. Fire trucks and ambulances were everywhere. The article said a major gas line had ruptured during the night. The leak was concentrated on my floor. In the section of the building where my apartment was, I stared at my phone, the news report reflected in my wide eyes. If I had gone home, if I had ignored that voice and chalked it up to a prank or a glitch, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting in this motel room, I wouldn't be breathing. The thought was so overwhelming, it was hard to grasp. I would have been asleep. I never would have known what happened. My entire existence had hinged on a decision to listen to an impossible message. I looked from the news article back to my call log, at the 2 voicemails from myself, still marked as unread from the future. I was saved by my own voice, from a tomorrow that I was never supposed to see. How? Why? The questions swirled in my head, but there were no answers. Just then, my phone chimed softly. It wasn't a buzz or a ring. It was the gentle notification sound for a new voicemail. My heart hammered against my ribs. I knew, even before I looked, where it was from. My number, there was one last message waiting for me. I took a deep, shaky breath, and with a strange sense of calm I hadn't felt in the last 24 hours, I pressed play. The familiar beep. And then my voice, clear and steady this time. No fear, no panic, just a simple, quiet statement. It said, "You listened, this time."